You're listening to New England Real Estate Journal Radio with Rick Kaplin, New England source for commercial real estate news. This is New England Real Estate Journal Radio on the Money Matters Radio Network and online at moneymattersboston.com.
Welcome to the New England Real Estate Journal Radio Show. I'm Rick Kaplin with Eric Wilson, and we have a fantastic show today.
Sweet.
And we have in the studio with us, and we'll be interviewing in our next segment, is Diana Brennan from Building Impacts. Good morning, Diana.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, this is exciting.
We were afraid Eric might have scared you away. But
Well, he did give me the wrong address, so that was stuff.
I just wanted to put this off in the right foot. You know? I do. I wonder how
I
many
was
people I've
driving
done
around
that
for a
to.
little bit. It's okay.
that's why we never, every guest that he invites on the show, they never show up. Yeah,
Usually-
I was wondering why.
They're usually late. I didn't know it was a 144. I thought it was 44. All right. I think we can pass on that. Let's continue.
Hey, I got some good news.
Yes.
That CBRE had announced that multifamily investments set record-breaking year in 2014. Yeah, their propensity to rent, improving job economy, and new development delivers in the U.S. combined to drive the largest full-year multifamily investment total since 2007. Yeah, that's good news.
I also saw the BRA did 62 projects totaling $3 billion. They just put out. It's the biggest Boston boom in a while.
Yeah, well, we knew that was happening.
We've talked about it
they're
at
booming.
least once a month for the past year about how much construction we go by.
Yeah, and one thing that I forgot to mention last week when we were talking about the hotels and all the the Olympics in 2024, I forgot to mention about the Millennium Tower that they're putting in where the old Filene's building used to be in downtown
I walk by that
Crossing.
all the time.
It's unbelievable that they sold out 70% of that. And it's not even, what is it, a year before the completion?
I mean, they haven't even, I don't think they've finished the base of it. It's so far from being done.
And like a studio apartment's like $850,000.
Really?
Yeah.
So right up our alley, Rick.
Yeah.
We could
So
share one.
affordable.
We could share one and put that thing on a 60-year
Well, we'd have
mortgage.
to share it and rent it.
We would.
Rent out half of it.
Rent out half of it. You get that side of the studio, I get this side. We'll split the kitchen right in half.
But the penthouse is
I can't even imagine.
$37.1 million.
I think it's built specifically for what, Giselle?
Yeah.
Giselle and Tom? I would assume, or Bob Kraft. $37 million is, I mean, that must be some incredible view.
I'm sure it's
You'll probably
a
see
view of all
blue
of Boston.
skies, some water,
Yeah,
some more buildings.
I'm sure you see everything.
Totally worth it.
But that's
How many
pretty
square
impressive.
feet, I wonder? It's probably enormous. It's like those ones you see in the movie from like The Great Gatsby and stuff.
I'm sure it's a great view, and I'm sure it's a lot of square footage. I don't have the exact number, but I'm sure it's quite a bit. And
Sweet, I'm glad you could say that
And-
with,
yeah,
with
but-
confirmation.
The one down at Fair Pier that Joe Fallon is building, that's
huge.
right on the ocean as well, right on Boston Harbor.
It's crazy to think only like 30, 40 years ago, no one wanted to live on the water. Now, everyone wants to live on the water.
Everyone wants to live on the water ever since they found out that the water levels are rising.
That is true.
I mean,
Water levels
why does that
rising,
make
let's
sense?
get closer.
Yeah, why does that make sense?
Well,
Let's move back further.
no, that's never going to happen. People love, for whatever reason, I think it has a lot to do with energy efficiency, to be honest with you. I know from people that I know who live on the beach, I grew up in a beach town, no one wanted to live there. They used to do all rental homes because it was so expensive. The windows would lose heat so fast. They weren't, the deterioration from the salt water, the salt air coming through. Well, now with technology, everyone's like, oh, we got new windows, different paints. Everyone wants to move there now. Now you can't even find land on the ocean. Unless you go to the
That's
Cape
true.
Cod,
That's true.
where they're building those cottages.
Yeah, and
right?
Dennis, Mass, Heritage Sand.
Oh, look at you. Oh, you can remember that, though, right?
I
Not-
remember
not
that
your
because,
event, but you can remember that.
Yeah, Brennan
Right? And you know his name. What?
Because he invited me to come down there any weekend. You know, I can stay down there.
Plus, you see his face every day on LinkedIn. That's how you remember. Rick alluded to he remembers people's faces, not their names.
That's right.
So make sure you're connected on LinkedIn and posting constantly so we can remember you.
Well, you know, next week we have a very interesting show. We have Derek Peterson. He is the CEO of Terra Tech. And
Terra, or as in T-E-R-R-A as in land, or Terra as in T-E-R-R-O-R?
T-E-R-R-A.
Okay,
Terra.
as in like land. Gotcha.
And he is has these big cannabis operations that he has put in.
You're saying it with this huge smile on his face.
Well, because
I love it.
You know, I don't want to say he has this great drug business. You know,
well, you just did.
Although you just did.
Yeah, cannabis.
Right.
Is the proper term.
Well, way to be scientific with it.
And he has in Colorado and in California and now
he's looking
in
New
Nevada.
York, right?
Now he's trying to open in New York.
Right. For medical dispensary stores.
Well, manufacturing and the store.
Oh, both sides.
Yeah.
I have to say that ever since they legalized it, I smell that all over the place. Like,
and she has never been happier.
No, I mean, like,
well,
seriously.
Where are you traveling?
I was in a sushi restaurant yesterday, and I walked out the restroom, and I sat down, and I was like, what is this? Like, where am I? It's, I don't know.
Wow, where am I? Hempfest?
Yeah.
Well, was that in Boston?
That was in Boston. It was in Beacon Hill.
Did you walk on my table?
Well, Beacon Hill.
Eric was in there. That makes so much sense.
Totally
well, it was
changed.
in Beacon Hill, so you know a lot of the politicians were probably all in there.
Yeah, they were.
They got to be smoking.
I'm walking.
something.
Yeah, I'm walking away from
say
that.
This, although retail people seem to think it's moved online, we've now put more brick and mortar stores back into play with these cannabis stores and, like you said, the manufacturing where you buy in huge facilities.
Well, you really can't sell that online yet.
That's what I'm saying. You can't. So you can you still use the buildings and the industrial parks in order to grow centers, things like that.
Well, he has an interesting part of the whole business that he's going to talk about, and that is the commercial real estate part of this. Because it's very interesting what happens once they put the zoning in effect.
I don't want people to get the wrong idea. The New England Real Estate Journal, we're not potheads. I mean, we have had Howard Goldman on, who's done condo law about marijuana. Our number one story the last month has been the pitfalls of pot if you own property, and now we're bringing in somebody.
Well,
on the
it's
commercial side.
a hot topic.
All within like a month and a half.
It's a hot topic, Eric.
It is if you burn it right.
But, you know, one of the things happened last week, we talked about the marathon.
Yep.
And we had a lot of people that were interested in listening to what we were saying because a lot of people have a lot of different opinions of what's happening with that. But people didn't know how to get a hold of us.
Okay.
Because we never mentioned that they can tweet us.
Yep.
Ricky Cap on Twitter or EP_Wilson on Twitter, or you can go to our LinkedIn page, Ricky Cap. Rick
Kaplin.
Rick Kaplin, right?
His real name.
Yeah, and yours is Eric Wilson.
You can actually go to the /Eric Peter Wilson. I use my whole name on it on LinkedIn.
Yeah, or they can email us at radio@nerej.com.
Anytime.
And comment. And
or just go to nerej.com.
Yeah, we'd be more than happy to talk about it with you.
We have strong opinions on it as well. Opposing opinions.
Well,
as usual.
Yeah, that's true. We do have
But we're about to do, is this time for the event updates?
Well, the event updates. I want to first thank our sponsors.
Okay.
Which is Procon.
Yep.
Video Doorman. Comstack. City of Hartford, Connecticut. The City of Rochester, New Hampshire. Yeah. I forgot my papers over. It's all free.
This is all of memory, so far so good. Continue.
So far so good. And the City of Marlborough, Mass.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really good job.
Let's have an applause for Rick.
Good work, Rick. For events coming up on September 7th and 8th, we have the HELP Conference. That'll be up at the Seaport Hotel. On April 14th, we have, if you're in New York, there's a big show going on where they're going to be giving away a Lifetime Achievement Award for Bill Clinton. You can check that out. Go to cocommunications.com. They have a big write-up about it. I know April 15th, we have the big non-gala for all of you who want to go out to an event and surround yourself with activities and help yourself out and help those who need as well. Definitely check that out. You can go to buildingimpact.org to find out more information there. I know we are April, I want to say 14th is the MedEd conference as well. If you're up in the Boston area and you want to check out and you're in the medical educational facilities, whether management or services, you want to stop by there, take a walk through. April 23rd, the Northern New England Cocktails and Conversations event in Portsmouth. You definitely want to go to nerej.com to find out more information about that. It's going to be a huge show. This is our second annual up there. Last year was 150 plus. Right now we're on pace to outdo that. So definitely sign up there. And then further on the line, we go out in June. June 18th, I know we have the NABFM conference. You and I will also be traveling to Connecticut for the Connecticut Expo. So you can check all this stuff out on our
by
events.
the Hartford Business Journal.
So you can go there to find more information there, or always go back to NEREJ or tweet us at any time at NEREJ, and we'll be happy to answer all your questions about upcoming events. Hope to see you all there.
And we'll be right back on Money Matters Radio Network.
The next level in commercial real estate. This is New England Real Estate Radio on the Money Matters Radio Network and online at moneymattersboston.com.
Again, that's thinkrochester.biz.
Commercial real estate can be a risky endeavor if you don't have all the information you need to make an educated decision. Why spend time digging for data when CompStack provides investors, lenders, and landlords accurate lease comps for office, industrial, and retail properties, starting rents, concessions, and more in just a few clicks? The world's largest investors and lenders use CompStack to benchmark their properties and underwrite their deals. Shouldn't you? CompStack. Better data, better deals. Visit getleasecomps.com today.
Rick Kaplin on the Money Matters Radio Network and online at moneymattersboston.com.
And we're back on New England Real Estate Journal Radio. I'm Rick Kaplin with Eric Wilson. And we have in the studio with us is Diana Brennan from Building Impact. And Diana's going to tell us a little bit about what Building Impact is all about.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you both for having me. I am relatively new to Building Impact. I just joined in June as CEO of the organization. We are affiliated with the real estate industry, but not in a typical way, not in the average way. We're a very unique organization that partners with the real estate industry to bring people to the nonprofit space and into the community through volunteer engagement and civic activity. And so how do we do this? Well, we partner with real estate companies, primarily with property managers, to organize events and activities for their tenants. We're very much like a tenant amenity in the sense that we bring this programming and activity that helps create a dynamic workplace culture in a building, creates a sense of community, and in creating this community, we connect it to the community at large through, like I said, volunteerism, corporate days of service. We bring nonprofits in-house and help give these organizations that contribute so significantly to the quality of our life, give these organizations additional visibility with the tenants.
Can you give us a little example of what that would be like?
Sure. So we organize kind of a calendar of events and activities, and that ranges from your donation drives. So we have quarterly donation drives that are themed seasonally. So going on right now is our food drive that we've organized across the 50 buildings that we currently are in. We select sort of end of March to be the time that we do the food drive because everybody gives product over the holidays, and we tend to forget about the food pantries. And by the time this time of the year rolls around, they're in need of resupply, and so that's what we help them with. We do a back to school supply drive in the fall, and then kind of the classic gift drive over the holidays. We'll organize blood drives. What's really special about our programming is activities that we organize in properties. So in lobbies, in communal areas where tenants can come out of their office for, 30 minutes. They'll come to the lobby. We'll have nonprofits in-house with sort of these micro volunteering projects that they can work on and complete, and in addition to doing some volunteering in-house at that day, they'll also get the opportunity to learn more about these organizations. And some of the projects examples would be making blankets for the homeless, writing letters to soldiers, creating activity packets for children's hospitals, trail mix bags for Pine Street Inn. So there's a ton of different activities that nonprofits really need help with, and so we help them complete those, and then people get to learn more about it. And
So are you like the middleman between, or I don't know, for lack of better terms, between the nonprofit organization and then companies?
Absolutely. So we're like this intermediary organization. We partner. There's other volunteer engagement organizations that exist. Our sort of unique niche is that we partner exclusively with the real estate industry. Our mission is to mobilize the most people towards volunteerism and community service, and we do that most efficiently when we harness the manpower of an entire property and we bring it out. So not only do we bring projects in and we bring nonprofits in, but we bring groups of people out into the community through meaningful days of service. We are also consultants to our nonprofit partners. So we have 250 nonprofits in our network that we work with on a regular basis, and we help them kind of understand what this human capital can do in their operations. There is no doubt that without these organizations, period, the quality of our life would be significantly different. They provide such critical resources in the community, and they're day in and day out just so involved with the direct service of helping people in the community that sometimes it's hard for them to understand where to apply this human capital, this manpower. And so that's really what we help support them in.
And how did Building Impact get started?
So I was just going to ask that.
I know, Rick. I saw it in your
Great minds.
I saw it in your face.
Great
We've been together way too long.
Well, we were born out of a private real estate investment company. So Paradigm Properties started this concept in the late 90s. They said, there's just this tremendous potential with the people that live and work within these major properties in Boston. And if we harnessed it, if we organize these people towards various projects, a lot of great work could happen. And so they started this as a tenant amenity, again, to build community within their properties and also in a way to give back, and it was wildly successful. And so they very selflessly and very unselfish of them to sort of let this concept evolve into its own 501c3. And so in 2004, Building Impact incorporated to be its own nonprofit organization.
So that's basically you're taking the tenants that are in the building and you're working or getting them involved in the charity. And like here, we've seen many times you walk into the lobby and there's a food drive. As a matter of fact,
we do that.
That's
our company.
In here?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So this is one of your multi-tenanted buildings.
This is one of our. This is our building.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we see it there. We do appreciate. What was the ice cream?
We did have we did an employee appreciation day you did with some ice creams here.
Yeah, in the lobby there was
from Scoops or something. It was awesome.
And we had some projects that you could become involved in. There is. So what's the return to the real estate industry? There's so much happening in real estate, again, about how these buildings are creating these dynamic workplace cultures. And we typically talk about that through like design, through open floor plans, through, lots of windows and just creating these environments. But it's also done through amenities and through program. And so we contribute to that trend. And So we help establish positive building brand throughout a community. We help create a sense of community here. It's very much for property managers. It's a very socially responsible way for them to manage their tenant relationships. Communication with your tenants is not always positive, especially with the winter that we had and, various...
Right, I can
For
understand
others.
that. Yeah.
Everybody loves me, so I don't know what that's about.
This is a really nice way we, in addition to the programming that we offer, we provide a lot of messaging and communication for our property managers and real estate partners to provide to their tenants on the impact that's happening as a result of this partnership, and we help distribute the messaging of the nonprofits that we're supporting. So it's kind of a win-win for all. I mean, there's this undeniable benefit that we bring to the nonprofit space, but then again, some real return. And a lot of the tenants really love it because volunteerism right now is one of the latest things, like in trends in employee benefits. It's what companies are adding. Companies are adding paid days of service as a way to attract and retain top talent. So new graduates are really interested in getting involved in companies that are committed to their community. And, they're certainly motivated by pay, but there's so much out there about the millennial generation being also motivated by purpose. And so this is a way for companies, we help organize these volunteer experiences.
Now, do you have any statistics on whether this works for retention of tenants?
Yeah, so we actually did, in 2012, the Tisch School, Tufts Tisch School, did a study for us on around that, on satisfaction, on employee satisfaction, and there was some evidence that buildings with building impact, and it was just a preliminary study. So we're hoping to do the next iteration at some point, but people that work in buildings with building impact tend to, know more of their neighbors, appreciate the real estate company, and have a better connection to their company and to the community that they live and work in.
So it makes the company that owns the property, makes them look much better to the tenant.
Absolutely. I mean, they are providing them. It's definitely a property management differentiator. It's a way to establish, again, create the social network within your property.
I think it also takes away a lot of the. Say you're a single tenant and there's multi-tenants in your building. You have to come up with your own nonprofit. You'd have to come up with your own calendar activities. This is something they bring everyone together, and you're joining part of a team.
Right. Well, that's what I was just going to say. I think the social aspect of this is something that we lack in everyday life nowadays. So I think when you bring
Thank you, Apple, with the iPhone.
No, seriously, we're all so dialed in.
Right. So I mean, I think when you bring people together and they know their neighbors and they know the company that they're working, right down the hall from, they might have some impact on why they might stay there.
Sure, and the study also suggested there's even more information out there that these types of group activities create instill a better sense of collaboration back in the workplace. So teams will go out and do this team building and come back to the office more functional. So it's in addition to this volunteer movement that's happening and the trend in real estate, it's also about contributing to a sustainable community. We really have to be active citizens, and we really need to reinvest. It's not just about reinvesting financial dollars. It's about investing your time in really meaningful ways within these organizations to support them, because they do provide such resources in our community.
Well, we do we do know a little bit about that team.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, because last week we were in the bowling competition.
Only, you know what's funny? I was actually at my countdown because I was going to say, when is Rick going to bring up his bowling
The National
expertise?
Association of Women in Construction.
Okay.
And they put together all these teams from different companies. I think it was Turner Construction and Suffolk Construction. And,
Right.
It was a women's only tournament? You
No,
got
no,
to play?
no,
it wasn't only
Right.
women.
Yeah.
It was
Taking the cheap
That's what my
shots.
son said too.
She should be part of the team. She's already taking cheap shots at Rick.
Right, we had
mean-
the NEREJ team, and they had one top bowler. out of all the teams.
Oh, let me guess who that was.
Take a wild guess.
Yeah, it was the dead ringer, Sandbag and Rick Kaplin, who came in and said, I don't really bowl that often.
But then he shows up with a wrist guard.
Oh, yeah, he had the wrist guard. He looked
I had a
like
shiny ball.
Yeah, his own shoes.
No, I. You know what? I think the last time I bowled was 4 years ago.
Sure it was.
All right.
4 years ago, every single day. No, he was really good, actually. He had like 5 strikes in a row. That was a really good thing. It was funny, cheap plug here. I just wrote an article about this on the best 3 networking events I'd been to since I've been in the Journal. The first building, I went to building NonGala last year, and that was one of them.
Thank you.
I went to the Hypnotist in Irem. Even though it was a small, intimate crowd, I still thought that was one of the better ones. And NEREJ Bulls. And I thought it was all because of the same things we've been talking about here, is collaboration.
Right.
When you work with someone and you do something toward a goal, you leave with a better sense of a relationship than you would necessarily just swap in 5 minutes of what you do, what I do.
Absolutely. It's such a great way to network. You know, I've seen scenarios where, you know, and 2 individuals sit down, one person's in their 60s, one's in their 20s, and they sit down to make a blanket together for a homeless shelter. And it just lends itself to such natural, authentic conversation. Right. That you just remember, and you you continue that, you know, connection afterwards.
Right, and it's all about making relationships, and it's the same part of why we network in the industry, because we want to meet people, and we want to meet people in preferably our type of a business, but we found that it doesn't necessarily have to be in your business or your industry, because the guy that might own the flower shop down the street, he knows a guy that owns buildings down in the next town over,
or his own personal broker that he used to get his flower shop.
Exactly. So it's all about making relationships.
My one question on the building impact is: have you thought of going into, now with all these new residential buildings going or condo buildings, where you can get those tenants to? It would probably make it easier for, say, like an Avalon Bay or a property management company going, yeah, we don't necessarily have these food drives all the time. But if we had someone comes in and goes, hey, we handle this, we'll take care of that. Have you thought about going to that side?
Absolutely. We actually partner right now with National Development significantly on that, on bringing this programming to all of their residential properties.
Nice.
Actually, we're ready to launch an ink block. And so certainly and Tom Alpern is such an advocate of this, and I totally appreciate him for this, because, you know, certainly where you work, it's important to enjoy walking into that building every day. But when you talk about creating community, that is where you live. And I think that the initial study didn't take a look at residential communities necessarily, but when we do the next iteration, that's certainly something I want to roll in, because I think the impact on tenant satisfaction and longevity in a building that has building impact or programming that is actively connecting them to the fabric of their community, I think it's going to be pretty significant.
I do too. I would assume that would be the next. I don't know what your future's plan for building. That would seem to be the next evolution. Would go to not just building owners and their tenants, but bringing it to the house of condos. Because everyone seems to be, especially millennials, we tend to live more in a community.
Yep.
We're not really home buyers as of yet. Could also due to be the age, but we really like the condo, townhome, apartment type
So is
style.
that the future of
building impact? It's so exciting. It's truly one of the reasons why I joined Building Impact, is because of its potential and the direction that the board really would like to take the organization. So we are actively right now, the next 12 months, really looking to expand our footprint throughout Boston, and then look at, hopefully by 2017, look at new cities to launch in. We're a very scalable organization. We are super smart. We don't necessarily rely on a ton of humble. We have an amazing board. We have an amazing founding real estate partners with National Development and Paradigm and Bullfinch and the Davis companies. So we're poised to do some really great things over the next 3 years.
Fantastic.
That's great.
And new cities, you mean like New York?
New York might be the last market that we move into.
Really?
We need to. New York's one of those. It's so.
It's the monster.
Aggressive,
it's the go hard or go home policy.
Well, but you need to have some solid brand visibility before you move into a market like New
You
York.
can't just come from Boston because they don't like that.
Well, yeah, we
Oh,
need
you're
to
just
like
coming from Boston.
infiltrate.
Yeah,
So
right.
a city like Chicago or Philadelphia
Nice.
could be the next ideal.
Okay.
Yeah, so this might be good to connect them with the gentleman that's tied in with the cannabis manufacturing.
Yes.
That might be good for the buildings, you know.
Could that be our yeah, I'm not even going to say
Yeah.
anything. We're going to end.
Way to go, Rick.
We
Separate
gotta,
that.
we gotta go to a break
This
right
radio show's at a loss of words.
Wow, I thought that segment went really well just until
now. Well, I was just thinking. You
I know, Rick, outside
we
the
got to go
box.
to a break. But we'll be right back on Money Matters Radio Network.
Rick Kaplin and Eric Wilson, right here on the Money Matters Radio Network and online at moneymattersboston.com.
Listen, are you living in a condo or co-op? Do you have difficulty receiving deliveries from UPS, FedEx, or your pharmacy when you're not home? Well, there's a solution. Video Doorman. It's a security system with live on-call operators for condos and co-ops that receives packages when you're out, stores them in a safe package room, and then notifies you about your delivery. They can even handle dry cleaning, pickup, and delivery. But there's more. If you come home late at night and don't feel safe, just press the Video Doorman key fob, and the Video Doorman operator will greet you by name and escort you right up to your floor. He can see you and speak to you and handle any potential problem. And Video Doorman costs only about $1 a day. Call Video Doorman at 888-697-3630 or visit videodoorman.com to receive a free building evaluation. That number again is 888-697-3630. Call now, feel safer, and never miss a delivery again.
And we're back on New England Real Estate Journal Radio. I'm Rick Kaplin with Eric Wilson, and we're talking with Diana Brennan of Building Impact. And Building Impact has a NonGala that's coming up.
That's right.
And we want to talk a little bit about what that's all about and
Yeah, thank you.
when it is.
This is our largest event that we host for our own organization. We support a lot of other events over the course of the year with other organizations, but this is our NonGala, and it is exactly that. It's not a gala. It is a very active night of volunteering on site. This year it's going to be on April 15th from 6 to 9 p.m. at One Financial Center. And so it's a night of volunteering. It's also a night of recognition of some of our most active participatory properties and tenants over the course of 2014. So we hand out our gold and silver impact awards. And this year, some of the nonprofits that will be in-house will be Project Bread. We'll be helping them help support their walk for hunger coming up by assembling the walker boxes that they hand out. We will also have a project for National Braille Press. I believe Spare Change News will be in the house, and several other nonprofits. So it's a fun night. Open beer, wine, bar. There's always.
Oh, wait. When is this? I wasn't really paying attention.
Wednesday, April 15th, tax day. You may need to have a drink after taxes are done. You should come on over, and you'll also feel good about it because you'll be giving back to the community on site. Yeah,
It's a great event. I went last year. I was lucky enough to attend. It's a lot of fun. A lot of laughs. Lots of laughs. It's nothing like seeing a couple grown men tie a blanket together. Yeah, it turns out to be very fun.
You learn how crafty you can be.
Yeah,
it's really impressive.
It's almost like, what do they call those? A conveyor belt line, so to speak, of
Assembly line.
Assembly line. That's
There you go.
That's proper English. Yes, assembly line of
You want to
activities.
change seats?
I know, right? Assembly line of activities that you get to do, and it's like, was it around 3 hours?
Yeah, 3 hours, but you can just stop in, for an hour. We're going to be, the recognition portion is going to happen, it will happen around 7 p.m. We're honoring the Davis companies this year. They're our honoree, in addition to all the silver and gold impact award winners.
How many events do you run a year?
Oh gosh, well, so that's our major event. We just had an event last week called Service Made Simple. So it's a similar theme of micro-volunteering, but on a smaller scale. And that was sponsored by VHB and held at Central Wharf Co. We had over 100 people signed up. And again, micro volunteering, it's happy hour, it's at a bar in downtown Boston. It's again a great way for professionals to come together and network. So we'll do a service made simple, but we do about 4 or 5 a year. And then we support last year we had the opportunity to support TUG and their Tech Gives Back Day of Service in September. We're hoping to do that again this year, mobilizing about 12 to 1,500 tech professionals throughout Greater Boston on one day. We sourced about 40 different projects throughout the Greater Boston area. And then we have another big project with MIT coming up in May. So it really seems like every month we have something in addition to then all of the activities that we do within our buildings and with our tenants. I mean, last year we did over 300, and I think it was like on average one activity every day.
Wow.
For the entire year. So we're very busy. And
how often do you run them in the building? So if I own a building and I had a bunch of tenants, would it be something you do once a month that you're going to do, or is it something you do once a quarter?
Typically, it's once a quarter.
Okay.
So on average, our buildings will have a lobby event, 3 times a year. And then we also offer these in-office volunteering opportunities to each of the tenants. Okay. So we'll go into their offices and provide them with sort of a unique, customized
So if they want to do it themselves as well.
If they want to do it themselves as well. And we'll organize these corporate days of service for a whole building. So again, a larger group comes together, goes out to the community, or we also offer one for each of the tenants as well. There's just such a demand from the nonprofit space, for this help, needing this help. And so we're trying to kind of close the gap.
So when you're working with a company, like you said, Davis Company is getting an award, I'm assuming you work with them.
Yeah.
So you do something for all of their buildings that they have right now it's just the Boston area.
Right. No, it's not. It might not be all of their buildings, but it's a significant number of their buildings. And yeah, they sponsor our programming within each of their properties. And so we organize this whole calendar of events, and it's like the between the donation drives and the blood drives and the building lobby events. And
you do blood drives as well.
Yeah. We work with MGH, the Red Cross, and Brigham Women's to help them source blood. I mean, right now blood is at such a critically low supply that we've been.
No, don't look at me.
I actually just gave blood last week. It's kind of funny. I've given blood more in my life than I ever have after starting this job.
Nice.
We see
people say that some jobs it's like giving blood.
No, I really do.
Not metaphorically. Right?
Not metaphorically. It's one of those things that
Do they give you animal crackers in the OJ after?
Oh, for sure.
That's the only reason you get blood.
Well.
Free
so
cookies.
What do they have when they have the blood drive? They bring the
Bloodmobile usually. It's
they have the Bloodmobile. Because
I know no, they usually just cut you right there.
No, because I know sometimes they just line up a bunch of cheers. And they
play musical chairs, and the last
Sometimes
person.
It'll be in the building, but the easiest way for them to do it these days is just bring the Bloodmobile. Right. The first time I'd ever been in the Bloodmobile was last week. It's quite an operation. I mean, it's very well set up. It's really interesting. So.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, you guys should
this
check
went
out
all
next
the way
time.
Into a Bloodmobile.
Listen, next time you see a Bloodmobile on the street, knock on the door.
Yeah.
Go in.
Yep. Probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen.
Do that.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be sober.
They don't think I have a heart, so I don't know
exactly.
I
don't think they take ice cold blood.
Right. Mine's frozen.
Yeah, seeing ice in my veins. No, I would say that sounds awesome. So you do a food drive, blood drive, clothing, I'm sure.
Yeah, we do clothing
especially
drives.
In the winter.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of the year, is there some kind of appreciation party for all the tenants that joined in this year?
Sure. So that's kind of the non-gala. But we do mid-year and end-of-year impact reporting. So this is where we provide a whole a list and piece of collateral that shows the activity throughout a property and with each of the individual tenants and the impact that happened in the community. And so that's very much a celebration of their generosity and contribution over the course of the year.
Do you invite all the buildings that you work with to the non-gala? How many people do you expect to attend this?
We hope to have 200, between 200 and 250.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's well. How many companies are you working with right now?
Well, over the course of the 50, we are in over 50 buildings. That lends itself to about 600 companies. Some companies are more active than others, of course. But we have, the potential of about 20,000 volunteers at our fingertips. So
wow, that's quite a bit.
It's a significant workforce. If we could, I think every year we're going to become more systematic and organized about how we mobilize them and really engage them in the community. But
are there certain charities that you work with the majority of the time? We
have some partners that we work with more than others, just based on, with some of the micro volunteering projects that they have a lot of that need. But we're open to working with any organization. This MIT project that we're working on in May, we're working with anyone from Boston Public Schools and Franciscan Hospital for Children, Perkins School for the Blind. Those are major institutions, to some very hyper-local organizations like JP Kids Art. So it really runs the gamut of the size of nonprofit that we work with. Same thing with companies. We'll work with some very small startup companies to very large, national organizations. So, we're still able to provide them with value. For the smaller companies, we help be their kind of end-all, be-all to their social responsibility.
So it's not necessarily a building or property owner. Could be just a company.
A company, too. We work with individual companies. So this was something that a new sort of arm of our operations or business that spun off as offices move. And they move out of a building impact building. A lot of times they want to maintain the partnership. And so we had to create
so now you can travel with them.
Yeah, exactly. So we created a scheduled programming and partnership opportunity that allows us to work with individual companies as well.
How many people work at Building Impact?
Small. We're very small. We're about 8 people.
So 8 people put together 50 buildings itineraries for the year on your events to whatever drives we're going to do. And then you actually have to go
facilitate all of these as well.
That's what I mean. So you have to put these 8 people on, mobilize them.
Yep. We're busy. We're
that
on the
would
ground
seem,
all
with
the
an
time.
event each day and an 8-man team, that would seem.
Yeah.
Well, do you have some volunteers from the companies that you're working with that they would take over the setting it up, the event or the drive?
Yeah, we haven't done that yet. We really want to bring these volunteers to other organizations. It's sort of a little self-serving for us to use volunteers for our own operations. Certainly something that we think about, and we do use volunteers for our NonGala coming up. But we want to, we're really committed to the other nonprofits that we support. And right now we've been able to make it work with the small team. It's going to be an interesting challenge, though, as we continue to expand our footprint within Boston. How do we maintain the quality of our programming and service and everything like that?
Do you work alongside any of the associations like the BOMAs, the IFMAs, the IRMs?
Yeah, so we're very fortunate to have Risa Fisher. She's the COO of NAP.
Yep.
She's on our board. NAP, along with BOMA, but NAP's been incredibly supportive of us. We wouldn't be here without them. So very thankful for their partnership. And we're starting to establish similar relationships with BOMA, ULI, other organizations, IREAM. So
nice.
That's fantastic. Now, if someone has a building, or they're a building owner or property owner, and they want
a company,
and they want to find out more about Building Impact. How would they get a hold of you?
How do they do that? So they can reach out to me, Diana Brennan. I am at Diana@buildingimpact.org. That's my email, DIANA@buildingimpact.org. You can also check our website out, buildingimpact.org. There's our contact information there. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter, Instagram. We're very active on social media. So that's one of the avenues that we help promote our relationships and help promote our corporate and real estate partners by, tweeting, posting about all of the good work that they're doing. And it's very viral, when their employees or tenants see that, it spreads. So it's something that we work really hard at.
Is there a phone number or?
There is a phone number,
But no one answers.
but that's wow. Yeah, I'll have to get that. I only know my cell phone number. I probably should.
Well, everyone does email.
I think you just go to buildingimpact.org,
Yeah.
and then if you type it on Google on your phone, it gives you opportunity to call.
Yeah, we
It's a blue button.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do
Call.
have the phone number there. We'd love to, like I said, love to work with more properties and companies. There is such a need. When we did this day of service in September with last year with TUG, we were charged with sourcing about 2,000 volunteer opportunities across Greater Boston in various organizations, and we kind of looked at ourselves and said, "Oh my gosh, is that there that need?" And what we quickly realized is that there's twice that need, and so we're always looking to work with more people to bring more volunteer support to these organizations.
Well, it sounds like a great operation that you have running.
Thank you.
And if a charity wanted to, they could also go into the
Yes, we're
website.
always looking to work with more nonprofits.
Oh, Eric.
Let's get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope to see
There's
you guys
no,
at
there's
our.
actually an organization we actually had on our show last year. Let's Get Ready.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they do SAT prep for people that don't have the funds to get
Sure.
the SAT prep classes.
Yeah.
oh, that's
Students
awesome.
getting ready for
I
college.
love that. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll have to connect.
We
with
try
them.
to do our volunteering when
Yeah.
we can. It's hard when you're a celebrity to spread yourself. So.
No, I mean, you probably have a hard
Really
time
can.
walking
Yeah.
outside like a normal
You have
person. I
no
totally
idea,
get it.
man. I'm gonna have to send you guys out first, just so you put the big black cape on me and send me out. No, it's a lot of fun. We appreciate you coming on and explaining it to us, and I
you.
hope everyone goes to the big NonGala. It's a great event. You
That's
guys do
right.
a wonderful job.
Thank you
was
so much, you guys.
sounds
This
like
has
a great
been
event.
Super fun.
And
Rick,
that
you
was
should come
Diana
next
Brennan
year.
of Building Impact. And we'll be right back on Money Matters Radio Network.
Rick Kaplin is right here on the Money Matters Radio Network.
And we're back on New England Real Estate Journal Radio, and I'm Rick Kaplin, and he's
Thank
Eric
you.
Wilson.
Yep.
Almost got it mixed up, but I corrected myself.
You wanted to be handsomer for a moment.
But we're coming to a close of another show.
Oh,
Oh, it's sad, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
It's been
but
so fun.
it has been fun.
It has been.
We've had a lot of good information. Eric just sank in his chair.
just lost. I am now
We're gonna have to have a fundraiser to raise money to buy him more chairs. The guy
I
who
do.
breaks a chair a week.
I've my 4 years of the journal. I've broken 9 shares.
like
I think it was because I think they were expired. and They just kept giving me the expired shares.
Yeah, but Building Impact.
Spit it out.
I know. I had trouble. You got me all flustered with the chair thing.
Okay.
The Building Impacts. That does sound like something that's very interesting, and I hope a lot of people do contact you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do. I
Thank
hope
you.
continued success for you guys. It's
Oh,
great
thank
for
you.
guys.
And I
I'll
will
definitely come back and report a year from now.
Oh,
Nice.
that would be great.
How this just totally changed our trajectory.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
You flatter us.
Yeah.
It's true, but it will help
It
you
will
guys.
help,
But
I know.
thanks for the flattery.
Well, and I plan on going to the NonGala.
Awesome.
Nice. Rick's gonna make an appearance.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's next week. Right?
I have to figure out what trophy
You don't
I'm
get to
gonna
keep
give
the
you.
blanket though.
yeah.
Yes, it's
And you can't eat the trail mix
It's
bags.
2 weeks-
Just make them.
it's-
That's
oh,
for Pine
You gotta
Street
give that
Inn.
away.
today we record on April Fool's. It's 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today. Okay. All right. I'll put it in my calendar.
Yep. So make sure April 15th, signed up, go to the big NonGala. It's definitely worth it, and I promise you will remember that event throughout the whole year.
Thank
But
you.
I want people to also remember our big event in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, our Cocktails and Conversation, our networking and expo. It's April 23rd at the Event Center at the residence behind the Residence Inn in Portsmouth. And
Sweet directions.
Huh?
Sweet directions.
Yeah.
See, residence.
Well, you sign up.
It's
sign
the
up, it
event
tells you-
center right behind the Residence Inn. So
Sign
get
up
to
and
the
tells you the
Residence
whole
Inn and then
thing.
find
We
it.
had to get a bigger. We had to get a bigger venue because there
know.
were so many people last year.
I know.
And we couldn't fit them all into that room.
I know the struggles of your plate, Rick.
That's right.
I do work in your office.
Oh, so you know one of the biggest struggles I have.
Yes, he's actually been on a few days, so luckily for you, you've got a lot of work done.
Oh, I was talking about you.
I was as well. I've been out of the office the last 2 days. You should have got some work done,
Oh, that's true.
right?
I noticed. Corey, hasn't it been quiet in the office?
which means it's worse.
Yeah.
Especially in the news office, it should be loud. But we do have some other events. I probably made some mistakes in the opening segment. The MedEd is actually the 7th and 8th, and the HELP conference is the 13th and 14th of April.
Right.
So check out MedEd, 7th and 8th. Also, April 8th is the Association of Energy Engineers. They'll be having that, the New England Energy Product Show. Check that out. That's April 8th up in, I want to say, Waltham. Was it Waltham, Rick? He was our guest 2 weeks ago. Last week.
I don't remember.
Sweet. But check that out. April 8th, you could go to the AEENewengland.org,
Right.
and that will give you all the information about their upcoming event. It's an energy products and services showcase.
And, we're recording today, April 1st, April Fool's Day.
Yes.
And, one of our... the
general manager
in our office, he's always pulling pranks on everyone.
Yeah.
Well, mostly one person, which is me. And he's been out the last couple of days.
Right.
Now, I'm going to tell you what I did to his office, because he's not going to really hear this until he comes back to work, and he'll find out what really went on, is that I have covered his whole office in New England Real Estate Journal newspapers. Everything is covered. His chair, his monitor, his desk, everything. So when he comes into work, he's going to be kind of surprised.
Did you wrap it like a present?
Oh, yeah.
Like the,
He'll show you the photo. He'll have to put the photo up on the journal as soon as...
I'm not putting anything up until
Dave finds it. But I wanted to say, so all of our listeners are now witnesses. Rick just said he does all his work when I'm not in the office, and he spent all morning taping up another employee's desk.
Wait, let me
what
tell you
work
something.
are we talking about?
Let me tell you something. I work for the New England Real Estate Journal, and every single one of those papers were...
Sorry, I just got a huge...
Every single one of the papers I used on that desk were New England Real Estate Journal newspapers. Now, before...
I just got a major hamstring cramp, and that was serious. I thought I was looking on the floor.
I thought he broke something else.
You ate a banana this morning.
I
Like
know.
the potassium should help
I guess I
that.
was fooling around as typical ADD guy. And can't stay still.
This is like dangerous.
Well,
So,
I think
I apologize.
Eric's starting to get a little
on
cranky.
on that note,
He's starting to get a little wound up, so
On
we're
that
going to
note-
have to call this show.
Hypoglycemic.
Thanks again,
close.
Diana, for joining us. We
Yes.
appreciate it.
Thank you,
Oh
Diane.
my gosh, no, this was fun. Thank you guys so much.
It was our pleasure. And this deal is done.